They told me that I would be dead or in prison by the age of 25. And they were right about both.
Anyone here who says, I've lived a perfect life, you're lying. We are not judged in how we fall, because everybody in this room has fallen and you're going to fall again. I've been fired from jobs. I've made mistakes in my personal life. I've fallen and I'm going to keep falling. We're not judged by how we fall, but how we rise. I met this guy over this weekend at an event that Maya and Andrea sponsored at the Dubai Muscle Show. There's one of the great stories of picking yourself back up that I've ever seen. And it's a man that has my deepest respect. Please welcome Mr. Chris Ruera.
Thank you very much. They told me that I would be dead or in prison by the age of 25. And they were right about both. The old me died a long time ago, and he had to. See, this life of mine started on a kind of a rough journey right from the gate. I was born to two highly addicted drug addicts. Both my parents were very much strung out and addicted to their negative mind and their drug addictions before I ever was a thought. And when I came into this world, my mother was actually on drugs during the pregnancy. So social services and the police and everything came into my life the moment I came into this world. About a year into my life, my mother overdosed and died. After my mother passed away, my father was so gone in his addiction, there was no way that he could take care of me. So he put me up for adoption, and I went into a foster home. Soon after that decision of his, he died himself. I was in a foster home for 9 months, almost to a year, and I was lucky that my great aunt found out about my situation and she adopted me. She brought me into her home. She gave me a house of love and looked out for me, and things were great. Showed me sports. I played with my little cousins and had a family. It was amazing. But negative thinking is very, very, very powerful. And negative thinking creeped into my mind at a very, very young age. I was playing football and playing baseball and having fun with my friends and things, and when my great aunt would come to pick me up, they'd always ask me, why does your grandma pick you up? Where's your mom at? I used to tell people that my mom was eaten by a lion. I don't know why, I don't know where that came from, but it made the conversation stop. It made them stop asking me. Until the day that it got back to other parents, and then the parents came to me, and then now I'm a liar, and I'm making up stories, and I'm a troubled kid. And it started to snowball more and more. Even though I was skateboarding and I was having fun as a little kid, I always had that thought, well, where was my mom and dad? What were they like? Why didn't they stop using drugs? Was I not important enough? And it started to snowball. Even as a little kid, I was so little. I was told that I was gonna come from drug addicts. I came from drug addicts, and if I don't be careful, that's exactly what I'm gonna become, because it's in my DNA. It was told to me. And that little idea started to spin and get bigger and bigger, until when I was 11 years old, I was like, oh, I'm gonna steal some alcohol. Man, let's see if I can numb out a little bit. Everyone's doing it, things good. That little drink turned into more. Then I started using weed, smoking marijuana, and everything just started to snowball more and more out of control. I couldn't grip it. I didn't know which way to go. And it just continued to snowball more and more. And then I got arrested at 11 years old. 11 years old. And luckily they didn't take me to jail that time, but they took me to jail the next time. And I started to go to jail. I was 11, 12 years old, going to jail, in and out. And then the negative thinking started getting bigger Now I'm in jail. The negatives is so, I'm surrounded, engulfed in negativity, that when I got out, I started doing bigger drugs, started doing bigger crimes. By the age of 13, 14, I was smoking crack cocaine. Lost. No hope. I gave up. I was robbing my mother that adopted me, that gave me her home, stealing from her, until then I got introduced to the gang world. Then I got put into a gang, and now I'm a gang member. Now I was like super tough, and everybody's gotta be scared of me. So that negative mindset started getting bigger and bigger. And I'm going in and out of jail over and over again. Till I was in my early 20s, about 22 years old. I'm sitting in prison for like multiple times. I walk out onto the prison yard this day, normal day like every other day in prison. And I'm like, you know what? I long to hear my mom's voice. Let me call my mom. And I call and no answer. So I'm like, oh man, maybe she's out doing errands or something. So I call my sister. And my sister answers. And I'm like, hey sis, how you doing? I called mom, but no one answered. Oh, mom's sick right now. She's probably sleeping. She's probably asleep. She's been sick for a couple days. And that, as I heard the voice, her words go into my ear, my mind starts spinning. I mean, she's sick. Is she okay? No, she's okay, but she's sick. And the idea came into my head, and I just started talking before I even thought. I said, sis, you have to promise me right now, if mom is ever sick, if it's ever that bad, and mom passes away, and I'm inside here, you have to promise me that you'll do everything in your power to let me be there at the funeral to say goodbye. I don't know what I'll do if I'm in here and I can't say goodbye. And my sister's words went into my ear. Why don't you stop going in there? And really quick, my reaction, without actually even thinking about what she had said, oh yeah, that's easy for you to say. And then the prison chimed in onto the phone. 30 seconds until this call is terminated. So my sister said, oh, Chris, it's really good to hear from you. I gotta go get some medicine for mom, and I'll tell her that you love her and that you called. I was like, okay, thank you, sis. I hang up the phone, I step out of the telephone booth, back onto the prison yard. And then, hey, homie, come here, hey. So this guy calls my attention, and my mind's already drawn back into my reality of prison. He's like, what are you doing? Nothing. Come walk with us. So we start walking around the prison track. My mind's starting to think, man, my mom's sick. I hope my mom's okay. We're not even got a full lap around the track yet. And the group of guys that I'm walking with, one turns to me and goes, watch this. Walks up to an enemy of ours, punches him right in the face, and sets off a riot. In an instant, it was chaos. 30 on 30, 50, 60 people fighting everywhere. I get hit, I'm fighting this. All I'm trying to do is survive. I don't even know what's going on. I was just thrown into this. And next thing you know, I got hit in the back of the head, and I turn around and think, and it's the cops. And they throw me on the floor, and they cover me in pepper spray. They shoot me with rubber bullets, and I'm burning my head. I'm dying. Everything is just, I feel like my eyes are melting out of my head. And then as they shackle my hands behind my back, I'm laying with my face in the grass. I'm rubbing my head. I'm trying to rub all this stuff out of my eyes. And I hear my sister's voice. Why don't you stop going in there? They pick me up. They take me to the shower because I have to rinse all this pepper spray off. And then they put me into the hole, where I spent 4 months for participating in that riot. Random times, if I was working out, if I was reading a book, my sister's voice would just creep into my head. Why don't you stop going in there? For 4 months, it kept repeating. Why don't you stop going in there? And then it started to hear my own voice. Why don't I stop coming in here? And then that kept repeating. And so I wrote a letter to my mom to tell her, I love you, I miss you. And I realized that I am in the whole of prison. I'm in the prison of prison. I was bad and I was taken out of society and put into prison. And I was bad in prison and they put me into the hole. And I can write a letter to this lady and she's gonna be there for me. Even though that I robbed her and I stole from her and I lied to her and I broke her heart over and over again, she would be there and take care of me. And I was like, I have to give this lady back. I have to give back to her. If I can never change my life and be something, at least I can get out and not steal from her. I can get out and not cause more pain that she sits with every day that I sit in prison. So I got out of prison on that term and I was like, I'm not going back. I'm gonna give this gift to my mom. It was very difficult to step out of prison and have a different mind. My thinking was different, but my reality was still the same. As I stepped out and I'm thinking, I don't want to go back. No one else thinks that I don't want to go back. They've been watching for years how I've been going back. So I didn't know how to move forward. I'm like, I want to move away from this, but how? Luckily, I had my mother there. And she said, you need to get a job. How do you plan to live? I'm not gonna pay for your life. So I was like, okay, where should I go? What should I do? She's like, I don't know. And I didn't know because I spent so much time in prison, I didn't graduate anything. I didn't go to school. I had no skill set. I didn't know what to do. Every time I stepped out of prison, I was the hardest guy. I thought I was so tough. I learned something about myself that day, that time that I got out of prison. To try to get a job, it was so difficult for me to walk into a Subway, look a 17-year-old kid in the eye, and ask for a job. I couldn't do it. It was so difficult. But my mom said, go, do it. I don't care. Mom, I can't, I'm scared. Go do it. And I did it. And they laughed at me. I got no call back, I got no interview. And my mom was happy that I went. And I saw how happy she was at me just giving a little bit of effort. So I was like, I can do this. I can do this little bit just to make her happy, make her smile. So I went out and I filled out every application I can. McDonald's, anything. No callback, no interview. And I told my mom, what do I do? She said, go fill them out again. The same ones? The same ones. Go do it again. And it made her happy that I did it again. And I'm like, all I have to do is write my name on this paper and you're happy? Let's do it. And then I was blessed with a chance. My family opened up a business and they turned their backyard into a place that can be rented out for weddings. And they offered me a job as a dishwasher. They said, Chris, we know that you've been looking for a job for a while. Would you like to wash dishes? It's not much, but it's a job. Please, yes, I'll wash dishes, I'll wash anything that you want. I just want a job. Just want a chance. So I started washing dishes. And I have fun working. I like to work hard, so it went good. And then I got a chance as a waiter, and that went really good. And I decided, I can do a little more. So I became a bar back. Then I went to the school, learned how to mix the colors, became a bartender. From bartender, became an event coordinator. So now I'm hosting these events where I'm like setting up the decor, the food, passing out the food, tearing it down, taking it back. Things are going good. My mom is through the roof. Every little elevation that I got, my mom was so excited. And I remember I booked my biggest event. It was maybe 150, 200 people or so. And I was nervous. Honestly, I was nervous. This is gonna be big. But I was excited to go home and tell my mom that I landed this event. And that's what excited me. I was scared that I was gonna be on my own with all these people, but I'm like, I'm gonna go home and tell my mom I landed this job. So I went home and I said, Mom, I got this big event. It's gonna be awesome, and I'm so excited. I'm a little scared though. She said, Chris, that's amazing. I've been watching the growth, and you've been doing amazing. I'm so proud of you, Chris. You know, Chris, I wanted to ask you, what do you think this bump is on my head? It caught me off guard. I said, Mom, what do you mean? So I felt her head, and she had this lump on the back of her head, and I said, Mom, how long have you had that? She's like, I've had it for a while, but it doesn't hurt, and it's not growing or anything, but it's just weird that it's there. I was like, Mom, you gotta get that checked. Why don't you go get it checked? She said, okay, I will. Prison, fights, riots, stabbings, chaos. Nothing in this world could prepare me to lose my mom as fast as I did. She was diagnosed with cancer, and it went quick. It went really quick. And when she passed, I lost it. I stopped going to work. I stayed in my bedroom. For 7 months, I didn't leave my bedroom. Every day I thought about suicide. I just wanted to be with my mom again. I had this idea, it wouldn't go away. I just wanted 5 minutes to talk to her. Just 5 more minutes. And the idea that I threw away so many years running around the streets, doing time in prison, and now I'm just begging for 5 minutes. It's never gonna happen again. Every time that I went to prison, she was there and she told me that I could change my life if I was willing to work for it. My beacon, my light in the dark was gone. And I had no idea how to move forward. I found myself back in prison, but this time it was the prison of my own mind, the prison of depression. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to move forward, but I did know that I wasn't gonna move backwards. I had this idea came to my head that maybe you should go to the gym so that you can sleep at night. I would stay up all night staring at my ceiling, pacing my room. So if I go to the gym and I just run, my body's gonna give out at some point. I didn't have the idea to get strong, get better, and I'm gonna beat this. I was like, I just wanna sleep. I just don't wanna think about her all night. So I went to the gym. And I saw these guys that were doing this calisthenics sport. I didn't know what they were doing. I didn't know too much about fitness at the time. I know you pick up weights, the heavier the weight, the stronger you get. Standing there, throwing weight around, thinking I know what I'm doing. And I see these guys doing this amazing stuff. They're like doing backflips and twists, and I'm like, my eyes are popping out of my head, my jaw's on the floor. And one of the guys sees me, he goes, hey, you wanna try? And I was like, dude, honestly, I have no idea what you're doing. I said, come on, man, come try it. You can't knock it until you try it. So I was like, okay. Went over there and had an amazing time with these guys. Never met them in my life. Great positive energy was just injected into my life right then. And I felt good for like 45 minutes. I wasn't thinking about my mom. And they told me, dude, we train at Santa Monica Beach, Venice Beach, every Sunday. Come on out. So I did. Completely changed my life. When my mother was here, all I was doing was just living. I had a small job. I wasn't the owner of a company. I wasn't doing all kinds of great things. I was living. And my mom was so happy. And then when she passed, I fell down. And I know it, I believe in my heart that my mom saw me falling apart without her and pushed me to the gym and introduced me to these people. I started to go and I started working out so much that is all I did. It made me happy. So I went with the happiness. I didn't know if I was gonna make the right move, because as I started working out more and more, I didn't want to go back to work. I wanted to stay with the happiness. So I quit my job and I just started dedicating myself to this. Then I found out that there's competitions. So I went to the competition. First competition, I won it. In LA. Los Angeles was my first competition, I won that. Then that sent me to Florida, what then sent me to Moscow, Russia. I'm not able to vote in my country. I'm American and I cannot vote in America because I'm a felon. But I was in Russia now, representing my country in a world championship. And I took second place. That pushed my life into a whole new realm. From Moscow, I went to Norway, went to Bahrain, came to Dubai. I have now been to 18 countries. I have now published a book, which is a bestseller on Amazon, about my life. The difficulties that you go through is life. But the thinking, the way you think about it, what your mindset is what carries you forward to the next thing. As I'm standing here today, as a best-selling author, a 3-time middleweight world champion of the sport, and I'm traveling around the entire world now from a prison cell. Because if you change your thinking, you change your reality. Thank you.
He came to Dubai with only a couple books. I have one. I've already finished it because if you start reading this, you don't put it down, and it's a straight through read. What's the name of the books that they're?
It's called Beyond the Bars, From Prison to the Podium.
So, any questions?
So Chris,
Yes.
you were addicted as well, or not?
Yes.
So
Yes.
how did you get rid of the addiction?
When I stepped out of prison this last time, I had the idea that I was going to give that gift to my mother of not going back to that.